So now that we're closing down our portfolio sites and finishing them up, I'd like to point out some methods that you can add fresh content later on, and that's by doing what's called a case study. If you've never seen one of these, they're really good ways to show process to your employer. So this is a zip file that has some case studies from other students, and you only need to look at one or two of these to get an idea how they work. I'm going to open up this one right here. And basically, a case study shows process to potential employers. You'll see these are really popular if you were to, let's say, Google, web firm case studies, because you are basically web firms, whether or not you're solo or not. So web firm case studies, they'll show a few of these. Like this is, if you see the front of this, it says, visit our case studies to see who we work with, what we design, and the results. So a lot of times they're used for branding. And you'll see links like the one I just showed down below that says how to write a web design case study that leads to new clients, because they really are useful in that way. And the idea is to show your process, and with each client, each project you've done, you could write a case study on it. And like Happy Planet, let's read more. And this is a way to brand a case study. The case studies in the folder that are in this week's materials refer to, and this is loading so long, but they refer to case studies that are problem-solving case studies where the student writes a case study about other websites that have issues and how they would correct them with either patterns or some sort of design solution. But you see this one right here, Happy Planet, they discuss objectives, they discuss the process, how they prototyped, how they designed, how they brought it all together. So then you can view the finished sites, but peppered in here would be a lot of keywords that could be useful for search engine optimization. So getting back to this case study, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of breeze through this because you can look at it. This is an example of contextual inquiry. To determine the specific features of the site were used by the targeted group and the frequency. Excuse me, looks like my Adobe just crapped out. Okay, and the frequency which they use the site. So they use what we call contextual inquiry, and these are the results, and that determines what the problems are with the sites. So then the student would do a redesign of that. So they created a user persona for this site, they found problems, and they solved those problems. This is a hierarchical task inventory. It's more of a user experience thing, but for web people, writing a case study can be very, very effective. So I give you a bunch of examples if you want to get some ideas on that. And then, if you, down the road, of course, we're obviously very busy, but if we get ready for the portfolio show in the spring, if you want to add a couple of these, it would certainly add credence and some power to your website.